So you want to go and train so you can improve faster than everybody else. But the problem is that you're alone. It might be that your teammates or friends, they'd rather stay at home on their phones or the PS5s, but you, on the other hand, you want to make a difference and actually go and improve as a footballer. But the thing is that football is a team game. So how can you go and train and improve when you're alone? Well, that's what I'm going to teach you today. But before you actually hit the pitch and start training, I want you to do something, because whether you do it at home or on the way to training, I want you to have a plan. Basically, there needs to be a purpose to your training, so you don't just rock up to the pitch and do random stuff, just follow the vibes. That doesn't really help you as much as having a plan where there's a meaning behind everything you do. And I realize making a plan, especially initially, can be a little bit difficult, so you can just totally steal mine from this video. But when you then get to the pitch, you get changed, you're ready to go. It's really, really, really important that you warm up. And you have to warm up properly. Now, I would do it so that I warm up for 10 minutes. I would start slow, do all the usual football warm-up drills. You know, high knees, kick yourself in the behind, a little bit of shuffles, all that stuff. Do that for 5 minutes at a reasonably low pace. And then basically you do the same things, but at a higher, more intensive pace to make sure that you're ready to go. And once you're warm, you're ready to go, right? Wrong! Because you also have to stretch. Of course, you don't have to. No one's gonna come after you if you don't, but you wanna do yourself the favor and stretch properly. And I'm talking stretching everything, your groins, your thighs, your calves. Do it properly, go through the motions, spend some time on it, because the more you do it, especially at an early age, the better your legs will feel the older you get. I didn't stretch properly enough as a young guy, and I regret it now. So stretch, and the training is gonna feel a lot better. And once you've activated your legs, you also want to activate your touch, basically ensuring that the connection between your brain and your feet is as fine-tuned as possible before you get into the more advanced part of the training. And what I would start with is juggling. Just standard juggling. Doesn't have to be any sort of advance. You don't have to do any freestyle skills. You just have to basically keep the ball in the air using both feet for like 5 minutes. And it doesn't have to be continuous. If you drop the ball, no worries. Just pick it up, go again. Because this way, you know, you just get friends with the ball. Again, if you're a little bit rusty, you're gonna understand the movement of the ball, all that stuff. It's just gonna activate in your brain, right? And what you then want to do is ball mastery. Obviously, we've done a lot of videos with the Ball Mastery Master 7 MLC, and you can take a lot of ideas from him. But essentially, you just want to go in and activate the finer part of your technique. Just little touches here and there are so many things that you can do. You just basically want to activate that little part of your feet where you get the feet going, keep the ball close, lots of little touches. And you do that as well for 5 to 10 minutes, just ensuring that your feet and the ball, they're connected, right? And what I then like to do is to go in and work a little bit more on that finer part of my touch. I love to have this row of cones that you could basically just, you know, weave into. Work on those little fine touches, get like a very nice flow going. Obviously this one, where you just weave in between the cones, touch left, touch right, and all that stuff, it's all perfect. Do that a lot of times and start slow, and then you can basically always up the tempo. Do it a bit more intensely once you feel you are in full control of the ball. If things are too fast for you, slow it down a little bit and don't escalate the tempo before you feel that you're ready. What you can also do, of course, is implement a little croqueta, then come out, croqueta, out, croqueta. Or if you want, you can do like ball rolls, soul rolls in between. Basically everything that includes moving the ball away from the obstacle in a tiny space while still keeping full control of the ball is something you can do. I do that for 10, 15 minutes or until you run out of ideas. And at this point, you probably earned yourself a little bit of a breather. But I'm not talking about the kind of breather where you sit in the dugout on your phone. No, I'm talking about where you stay on the pitch and you stay ready, right? If you have some niggles in your legs, you might want to stretch those out. But if your legs feel fine, you can also just go on the ball and start to juggle again. And yes, there is a lot of juggling, but I love juggling. It maintains that lovely connection between the brain and the feet and the ball. So just go out there, juggle, keep yourself going. Maybe you want to start implementing a little bit of like freestyle, whoop, all that stuff. Take a break, but stay active, okay? Then we move on. And as we get back in the action, you, my friend, are going to keep juggling. Because now I want to work on our first touch. And ideally, of course, we'd have a teammate that could ping us a pass. But I want to work on that first touch connection where we really understand how the ball is coming towards us, how we make that first touch, that initial control, and how we move out. So what you want to do here is you juggle a little bit, and then at some point you put the ball up in the air. Then you make a control touch and you move out. And of course, you can also mix it up a little bit. So if you put the ball up in the air, you want to take that first touch as the ball lands. And look, I understand that this is not necessarily easy, right? But you want to make it as easy as possible for yourself. So instead of kicking the ball super high up in the air, just put it up a little bit. Make that initial first touch, that control, a little bit easier. And then once you feel good with that, you have it under control, so to speak, you can start doing the more advanced directional first touches on that initial control, okay? Go slow, then build yourself up. The more successes you have, the more confident you'll feel, okay? But you're probably wondering, Jay, when do I get to shoot? And well, you do now, if you decide to at least. What I suggest doing now is that you do another dribble course, but this time it's dribbling with a purpose. Meaning that you take on some obstacles, some cones, some defenders, and then at the end you either shoot or you pass the ball. So I would suggest setting up some defenders, then come and pick up the ball, either getting it from like a rebounder or just picking it up from the ground. And then you face the right way. Where do you want to go? Face that way. Then I want you to attack the space. Get close to the defenders. Drive the ball with purpose. And then, of course, as you get close to the defenders, you try and beat them. Not with some super saiyan, very advanced skill move. No, you've lost the ball by now, right? You just gotta come at them with match pace. That's important. You want to train the way you play, okay? You come at them with match pace, little body feint, could do a croqueta, little shoulder drop here, come up here, maybe a step over, beat that, and then you take a shot. Right, so after you've scored a couple of cheeky goals, some screamers maybe, honestly, I don't care, as long as you score goals. Well, now it's time for another little break. And you've probably guessed already what you're gonna do. Either some stretching if you feel like it, especially after shooting, but also maybe just, some juggling. And at this point, if you haven't had anything to drink, that would be a mistake, because we're far into the session. If you feel thirsty doing any of the drills, go and have a drink, okay? It's important to stay hydrated. If you for some reason haven't had anything yet, you're gonna go to the dugout and your stuff. But you're gonna do so while juggling and walking. Easy. And just start slow. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. If you feel like you can take a little bit more of a challenge, you can start to run. Oh, that's challenging for me today. But just keep the ball in the air. But of course, we shouldn't forget passing. Now find a wall, or if your team is lucky enough to have a rebounder, find that, and then basically just start passing to yourself. Do a little first-time passes. Now the beautiful thing here is, you're essentially passing to yourself. So if you give yourself a good pass, you set yourself up nicely for the next one. Or yourself could be your teammate here. Make good passes, keep them low on the ground, make them nice to control, go up on your toes, start slow. You can move further away if you want. Now, once you've done that, you can also set yourself up with a little touch and do that. Whoop. Little touch, pass. And finally, as you make a pass, you can also make a little scan and then take a directional touch away, right? So basically, you do a little bit of everything. First touch passing, one with a little bit of a control on, and then this where you, whoop, you go away with the first touch. Of course, also, if you want to work on your set pieces, that could be your free kicks or your penalties or even your corners, you could also do that. And I mean, shooting free kicks, aiming for the top corner, that's always fun. But I would only do it if you have enough time. I'm not saying it's not important, but I feel the other stuff, that's more basic. And as I said before, you need to get the basics right before you start working on the other stuff. But I mean, a cheeky 10 minutes with a couple of free kicks, it's not gonna hurt anyone, is it? And it's a nice little breather before we go into the part where we don't need the ball. Of course, I'm talking about running. And look, I know you hate it, and I hate it too. But if we're being honest here, if you really want to make a difference, you want to improve more than everybody else, you want to be that extra guy on the team, Well, running is important, your fitness is important, your stamina is important, whether you like it or not. And for this, I think we need to end off with a bang, right? So you gotta go full pelt at the end of the training. Really get those extra meters in your legs, completely empty. Well, don't empty them, but you know, you have to sweat a little bit, okay? So what I like to do, well, that's a lie, I don't like to do it, but you could do suicide runs where you run to one cone, back, next cone, back, final cone, back at full speed. Or you could do crosses, cross-field runs, where you start in one corner, then you sprint to the opposite corner, then you jog along the goal line to the different corner, and then you sprint across the pitch again to that corner down there, then you jog up here, and you sprint again. You do that 3 times. And when I say sprint, I'm not talking about like 85%. I am talking about 98%, because going 100% will probably get you injured. Don't get injured, okay? It's gonna suck, but once you're done, it's gonna feel amazing. And tomorrow it's gonna feel amazing. And when you can do those extra 5 sprints at the end of the match, it's gonna feel even more amazing. Because you know what? You are amazing, okay? So don't skip the running. I would lie if I said that was pleasant, but now the session is officially over. Because I've decided it's over. And it's time for a little bit of a breather again. This time we're not gonna juggle, but it's important that you stretch. Look, if you've been going at the pace I think you should, then your legs need to be stretched. Especially if you're my age. I'm probably a little bit older than a lot of you guys. And my legs, in order to feel fresh the next day and for the next training, and especially for matches, I need to stretch. Again, focus on all your muscle groups. Your glutes, your thighs, your calves, especially your groins. I mean, coming up to do this, I can, whoo, that hurts in here, right? You wanna get down, stretch out the entire backside here. If you wanna get down on your back, do this. This is absolutely that. You know, come in here, take your time with the stretches. You can listen to a podcast, watch Unisport on YouTube, of course, but stretch. That is really important. Now, of course, after that, make sure you hydrate when you get back home, make sure you rest, and then make a plan for your next solo training session. And of course, you can mix things up here. This is not the answer, what I've been doing here, but it's a really good example of how you can train basically all of the different techniques and situations that you might face in a match. And that is all while being alone. And remember that training alone is more of an addition to your team trainings. It's not something you should only do. That's like the cherry on top. Your team trainings are where you bond. You understand how to move in an actual football situations. You learn how your teammates move and all that stuff. Don't skip team trainings. But the solo trainings are that little extra something where you can improve faster than everybody else. But guys and girls, what should we look into next? Well, let me know in the comment section right down below. Don't forget to subscribe to Unisport if you need new gear. Well, we have that in the link right over there. And well, yeah, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.